You know, it's people out here who will laugh at you when you're in the storm, but as soon as the storm start moving their way, they want you to have pity on them. So a massive layoff is going to happen because that's the goal of the administration, is to reduce the workforce. And right now, federal workers need to prepare themselves mentally. Ready or not, a change is here, and everything that you thought you knew about government is gone. Welcome in, everybody. We have a lot to dismantle today. And yes, I said dismantle. Some of y'all will catch that at the end, but let's talk about it. So we know that just recently, a judge paused the federal buyout program for the federal workers. And currently, right now, the judge has ruled in favor of the Trump administration, allowing the buyout proposal to continue. Now, we know what the program includes, but for some of you all who may have missed it, I'm going to catch you up on it. So the original plan stated that you can remain employed or you can resign. And as a bonus, if you resign, I'm going to give you 8 months of your salary and benefits. And you can get another job if you want to. You can double dip. But if you decide to keep your job, the plan would not guarantee that your job will remain intact. So we cannot guarantee you a position in the future. And also with that plan, you all remember, you don't have to worry about coming in to work. So that sounds like a nice plan, right? So check this out. So currently, right now, 75,000 federal workers have accepted the buyout plan. And the administration's goal was to reduce the federal workers by 5 and 10%. They're not there yet, but close. Everybody's situation is unique. Some people are already close to retirement, so accepting the buyout was a win-win for them. This is really going to help them to transition into retirement with financial stability. But for some people, it's going to lead to financial instability. Think about it from a humanistic point of view. Like if you were in the situation. Some people just purchase new homes. Their homes are not paid off. They have medical expenses. And just think about it. Some of these workers have worked in these positions for over 20 years. This is all that they have done. And trying to find another job is very scary. Some people may have children with chronic illnesses, or they may be working with chronic illnesses, and they're really dependent on their job. And just think about it for a person that's been working for over 20 years. Ageism is real, y'all. People don't like to hire you when you're older. And like I said before, people like who they like. And we live in America. People get jobs based on who they know and who has the most money, who has the most popularity. That's how people get jobs here. We know the federal government has very good health insurance, and it's a lot of people that's going to work with chronic illnesses, and they depend on that health insurance. And just think about it, this massive layoff that's going to happen, it's not just happening in Washington, it's happening all over. The United States has not expanded health care. Medicaid has not been expanded everywhere. We still have states like Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, and Georgia who does not have expanded health care. I was listening to this lady talk on the news yesterday. I think it was Fox, and she was saying that it was a no-brainer to take the resignation because, hey, you're going to get 8 months of benefits and you can double dip. And she stated, like, if these people have a financial advisor, their financial advisor would be telling them to take the money and run. And, you can go out and find you a real job. And she was insinuating that some of these federal workers don't even have real jobs. And, it's so amazing to me to see how people speak about other people when they're not in the situation. They have a whole lot to say. And they have a whole lot to say about what they would do if they were in a situation. It's people out here who will laugh at you when you're in the storm. But as soon as the storm starts moving their way, they want you to have pity on them. One thing I do know, man does not control the storm. And when you're talking about somebody else and making fun of somebody else's situation, just remember, it could be you. It can be your loved one. So a massive layoff is going to happen because that's the goal of the administration, is to reduce the workforce. So it's going to happen. And right now, federal workers need to prepare themselves mentally. And I'm very passionate about federal workers. I myself am not a federal worker, but I work for a company that receives federal funding. So my job is contingent upon federal funds. I'm gonna tell you all this, and some of you all may relate to this. I remember when my job was going through a reduction in force. And I'm gonna tell you some of the things that they were looking for. First, they started looking at our performance appraisal to see if we had any reprimands. Then they started looking to see who they hired first, who was hired last, who comes to work on time, just trying to look for the weakest person, or just trying to see which person who was underperforming. I remember all of this when it was happening. I have to say my job was not very dogmatic or rigid when we were going through this process. They actually networked with another agency who stated that they will accept the employees who were laid off. But I have to tell y'all, like, that job that they had was not very desirable. It was not a job I wanted to do, but it was available in case I needed it. So shout out to my job for doing that. I went through so much anxiety during that time. It felt like I was walking on eggshells every day. But I had already made up in my mind that I was going down with the ship, because actually they gave us a deadline that we had to accept that other job that they collaborated with. And if we didn't accept the job, they couldn't guarantee that they would be able to sustain our job. So this is something that actually happened, and I had to just wait it out to see if my job will be intact. And I'm here to say I'm so glad that I didn't have to go down with the ship and I was able to keep my job. But a lot of people had to go to that other company that wasn't very desirable. And that happened probably about 5 years ago. And those people are still trying to find something better. It's not as easy to find a job. Like I said, everybody has different situations. And when you're living in different states, there's different resources and availability. So if you're a federal worker or you're a person that's working federal programs, I can definitely relate to you, and just be encouraged in this time. And you know, I just cannot believe how reckless people are talking about federal workers. I don't know how people, like everyday working people like myself, people who are dependent on a job themselves, who's not making over $350,000 a year, people that live in America talking about other Americans. And they can talk about them with so much disdain. You know, saying things like, flush the federal workers down the golden toilet. Oh, let's drain that swamp. Just talking about them like they're not nothing. Just not having any empathy for anybody. I just can't get with that. I'm a person, I understand that programs that are no benefit has to be cut. I agree with that. Getting rid of programs that don't make any sense, that's programs that's not benefiting anybody. But just to talk reckless about somebody's livelihood, that's not my thing. And you know, it's sad that people don't have any empathy for people when none of us is safe. All of our jobs can be affected. When you're working for somebody else, you're depending on that company. And it's a lot of jobs that receives federal funding, because I believe what you put out, that's what you will receive. And that's why it's so important when you've been on a job for over 20 years, it's so important to continue to develop your skills, learn new things, take some classes, because you just never know when that job is going to fold. Also, get you a side hustle. Keep your resume updated. Always keep learning. Learn how to do investments. I try to keep learning skills because I just never know. But just keep yourself learning. It's just so important because we see what's happening. And the massive layoff is coming. So federal workers, people that's working federal programs, be encouraged. Use the resources that they have out, because they still do have federal jobs that you can apply for. You may be able to transition into something else. This is a wake-up call for everyone. Everybody's lives are going to be changed at this time. People that used to be supervisors may have to work in a different capacity. People are going to be feeling some kind of way because they're going to be disconnected from coworkers that they have worked with for a very long time. So there's going to be a shift, and you have to prepare yourself mentally. And let's not make fun of people at this time. These are Americans with real problems, people that need their jobs. You have to realize that everybody that works for the federal government is not bad. And I understand that you have to uproot the bad, but sometimes the good get affected when you're trying to get rid of the bad. So just be mindful of people's situations. Also, I want to say this. I just want to thank everybody so much for watching my channel. My channel would be nothing without you all watching, and I just appreciate you all so much. Talking about politics is something that's very new to me, so I'm still learning a whole lot of stuff. I like to talk about the things in politics that's related to the working class because I am a working person and I work very hard. So I usually talk about things that's related to the working class. But who knows, I may start talking about something else, but we shall see. This is a journey for me, but I just thank you all so much for being on this journey with me. And you all know I love talking to you all in the comments. Let me know what resonated with you in this video. But just make sure you be mindful of your conversation and how you talk in the comments. Make sure that you're kind and courteous and talk with respect. We're all adults. We're all going through something. So just be mindful of that. But that's all I have, you guys. And I look forward to talking to you all in the comments.